It's a beautiful day on the farm, and it's perfect for getting a little work done in the garden. This is our third year of building up this garden, and it's been a lot of learning, but a lot of fun too. Hey, buddy. And the garden's looking pretty good, but we still have a ton of work to do to get this garden to exactly where we want it to be. And that is weed-free and producing big harvests. It's nice to have my darling around with me at the farm helping me do some of the chores, and this morning she's basically picking up all the apples that have fallen off the ground. And we want to make sure we give these to the animals before they get rotten. It's always nice to capture what Mother Nature has brought us to this farm. All the wildlife and the critters that enjoy this vast paradise along with us. A lot of the animals do like the apples, especially the pigs. The pigs just go through these apples like it's nothing, but the chickens also love apples. But the majority is eaten by these pigs. Welcome back to the farm, guys. A while ago, we did a bunch of landscape fabric work in here. Sometimes it's also known as geotextile. But it's the solution that we're going with in this garden to help us keep the weeds away. When I'm in the garden, I always feel like I'm being watched. You see those Emden geese right there? They're just standing there watching me like a hawk. Do any of you guys ever feel like something's watching you in the garden? The landscape fabric that I'm using here is a geotextile. It's a polypropylene, you know, like it's made out of woven plastic fibers, and it's really durable. Okay, this is why I like this type of geotextile versus the soft fabric-y type. I always find that the fabric-y type just breaks down too easily. This stuff lasts for years and years. And I found this thing on Amazon. It's like a big spike. It's got these little tines in it, and it's a big fat head on it, so you hammer that down and it really holds it down and stops the wind from lifting it. Now eventually I'll have enough wood chips to cover all of the geotextile here, and the garden will look a lot better. But you have to understand that this massive garden has been a few years in the making. I mean, this is our 3rd year on the farm. I started building the perimeter fence the first year. We did do a garden that first year, and it was a disaster. So we scrapped that and we abandoned that garden that year, and the whole thing got out of control. But the 2nd year, we basically started laying down this landscape fabric, and we were building a lot of these raised beds. The weeds were just far too much to battle against. We were just dealing with the weeds on an ongoing basis. That's all we did, was deal with the weeds. And really, we still couldn't keep up with the weeds. So that's why we went with the raised bed system. And it's the best decision we ever made. The garden looks neat and tidy. It looks organized. We can compartmentalize a lot of our different veggies, and we can do the succession planting. I get a lot of comments actually in some of our videos and some of the gardening shorts that I put out. And people, you know, they like to spout off and say things like, the plastic is made out of petroleum, you shouldn't be using plastic, or toxins in the pressure treated wood, you shouldn't use pressure treated wood. Some people even question why put landscape fabric in the first place. But I think a lot of the reasoning behind the way we're setting up this garden has a lot to do with our lifestyle. You know, you can put it in the ground and then you're going to be dealing with the weeds, and you don't have to use landscape fabric, but then you're going to get even more weeds, and we're busy. We got a busy life. You know how many hours I spend on YouTube every week? It's probably like 20 hours, right? Like 4, 5, 6 hours filming 2 videos. That's like 10, 12 hours. Then you got like editing, which is like 4 hours per video. So it's busy. And you got all the other farming stuff to do too. So I'm satisfied with the way that we're setting up this garden, because in a couple more years' time, it's going to take very little maintenance to run this garden. And next year, we're going to continue putting more of this geotextile, and I'm hopeful that I can put some more raised beds in. See how we have these 6 galvanized raised beds here? I have room right here for several more. If I really try to think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, definitely 6 more right here. And I really like these raised beds because they're nice and tall. They're 30 inches tall, and they're galvanized, so they're gonna last many years, which is important. You don't want to have to rebuild your garden every few years, right? But I'm trying to get this garden set up to the point that my darling does not have to spend hours and hours and hours of weeding every single week.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
For us, it's just a lot more enjoyable to be in the garden with raised beds and all this black geotextile. You want your gardening time to be as enjoyable and fun as possible. You don't want to be not excited to go in the garden. You want your gardening time to be like, yeah, let's go to the garden, let's see what we got today. But you don't want to do that if the weeds are just taking over, right? Look at all these beautiful onions. Jeez, very cool. Remember this bed right here? This is the succession planting. This is the romaine lettuce that we did. It looks like a few of them didn't come up, but we got some of them growing anyway. And then we got our succession peas, and there's quite a lot, actually. It's looking good. You know, coming into the garden every day, sometimes it's a quick watering. Sometimes we spend a few hours, like today. We're filming and we're doing a whole bunch of work today because my daughter and I both have a day off together. That's not always the case. It's so awesome to come into the garden. It's such a great feeling. It's very rewarding, you know, like I don't even care what anybody thinks. I know the feeling that I have. My darling absolutely loves coming into the garden, especially now when there's less weeds, because she can't stand dealing with the weeds. It's just, she just spends all her 8 hours working on weeds. No better feeling than growing your own vegetables. And all you gardeners out there who are watching my channel, you know what I'm talking about. I know you do. I just wanted to share a little bit about what my darling did with all of our tomatoes this year. We have so many of those Roma tomatoes, and we had a lot of beefsteaks. I don't know what she did, but she worked some magic, and you know, she's just amazing. This is the first time ever that she's making her very own pasta sauce, and she did a great job. I'm very proud of her. She's doing great. This is only the first batch, too. You'll get some more cans done once we have our second harvest there. This is our own pasta sauce right here. My darling put in some meatballs for me. She's got some of the green pepper from our garden in here. She's got mushrooms in here. And of course, lots of different kind of herbs like oregano and basil and thyme. My darling brought this spaghetti for my lunch at the farm today. This is our own spaghetti sauce from the farm. Really good. Really good. And she's got chunks of tomatoes in here. Oh, I love it. I really like using this post driver. It's a gas powered, and it really saves my shoulders when I'm driving T-posts. Might have one more video after this one of putting the garden to bed and getting all the rest of the harvest. My darling still has a little bit of work to do, and she's going to water everything because we still have a lot of tomatoes growing, a lot of peppers, jalapenos, we still have eggplant, a lot of beans and peas and lettuce, so there's still a lot to come.